mounts. That's kind of mean. But the Infield Spectator mounts. Now, these are, I've heard two figures. It's either $35 or $40 a piece. But if you have a child that's 15 or younger, they get in for free if they're with an adult. Also, if you come for a race, you're allowed to bring in a cooler of a certain size, as long as it does not have anything in a glass container inside. So let's say you had a family of 4. If you made each of them bring in a cooler for $70, $80, you get a full day of entertainment with all food and beverage. That's a pretty darn good value. We'll talk a little bit more about the road course itself. We had plans on building one when the track first opened in 1909, but it took a little while for one to be built, about 91 years. We had other priorities pop up instead over that time. But we built the track to attract the Formula One racing circuit, which we did host the U.S. Grand Prix from 2000 until 2007. The road course has been modified a few times since then, specifically here to the right. Turns 8 and 9 used to be a much tighter S shape, but to increase the competitiveness around the track, it's a little bit more smoother, almost chicane-like now instead of the sharp S turns. But we've hosted, since Formula One left, we've hosted the sports cars. We have an 8-hour endurance race now that we run every year. That was just held, I think, 2 weeks ago. I forget anymore. Time goes by so quick. IndyCar has 2 road racing events. NASCAR moved all of their events to the road course for 2021. So there is no Brickyard 400 anymore. It's now the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. And motorcycles have run on it. Car companies will rent out the facility for private dealer events. This is the first time since 1993, the first year I should say since 1993, that the only major race we're going to have on the oval is the Indy 500. And I mentioned about how car companies, they will rent out. Chevrolet rented it out the whole second half of June for a private dealer event. BMW has invested, they're investing a lot of money here at the track to have events. Porsche, Ferrari, Audi has been here in the past. You just never know who's going to show up, and then they come and take the track from us. We can't give tours on those things. But so we're coming out here. This is turn 7 of the road course. So turn 7. Then we mentioned 8, 9, and way off in the distance is turn 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Coincidentally, it is directly adjacent to holes 7, 8, 9, 10 of the road or the golf course, which we did plan it that way. It wasn't a creepy coincidence or anything like that. But I already told you a little bit about the history of it. It is a public course, so if you wanted to come by and play around anytime it's decent weather and in season, you're more than welcome to do so. I believe it's $130 for a round, $200 with a club rental. Also, both the LPGA and Senior PGA have used this layout for tournaments in the last few years.
Is the course open on race day?
It is not.
I didn't think it was, but I was wondering, what's that ticket price?
And anytime there's major racing activity going on, we don't have it open. Just in the very rare but still possible chance that an errant golf ball could.
If I was playing, I'd be a serious risk.
Yes. So the chances of that are very, very, very slim. But unfortunately, with some golfers, you'll never know what might happen.
So does the cart path go under the track when you're going from?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
Have to.
Yes. Now, this road that we're on right now, this is Holman Boulevard. We'll talk a little bit more about the namesake later on, but it's the main artery of traffic whenever we're set up in oval mode here for the 500. It's also the backstretch for the road course. The darker area here to the left, it's kind of hard to tell the darker from the not darker with rain, but over here to the left, that's the backstretch for the road course. Next turn 6 and 7. And also when we had Red Bull Air Races here a few years ago, this was the main takeoff and landing strip for those planes. So now you might be thinking, well, now wait a minute, we just went underneath a pedestrian bridge. We moved the bridge. Although some of them said, hey, we could have flown through that, no problem, but it made our insurance company happy. Now, did either of you two watch the NASCAR events that we had here on the road course earlier this year?
No,
Did you watch them?
no, I didn't.
Did you hear anything about what happened in those events?
No.
Okay. So, there's an old Frank
You
Sinatra
don't
song.
know?
There's an old Frank Sinatra song back in the day that was written about when Ebbets Field in Brooklyn was demolished, called "There Used to Be a Ballpark Here." Well, we have our own version that we started doing. It's called "There Used to Be a Curving Here." Now, you see a curving like what we have here on the right for the exit of turn 6. There used to be one just kind of like it here right inside of turn 6, here to your left. That's going to be a little bit hard and tricky to see because of the rain, but maybe you can't even see it today. What happens? But if you look very closely, it would help if I actually got close to it. If you look very closely, you see how some of it's a little bit rust colored? If you look at it just right?
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a curving there, and what happened was the stock car drivers, no knock against NASCAR drivers, but stock car drivers, they're more